You're listening to the Incomparables Total Party Kill podcast, in which a group of friends play Dungeons & Dragons on the internet for your amusement. This is episode number 477, recorded March 2023, posted November 2024. It's earthquake weather.
Welcome back to Total Party Kill. It's me, Tony Sindelar, a dungeon master. I use he, him pronouns. Today, we are continuing one of the Candlekeep Mysteries adventures. We are playing Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor, the sort of murder mystery cold case of a person who was part of a mass murder. Maybe don't listen to this with your kids unless they're kids who are okay with mass murder. I don't know. How do we handle content warnings?
Family fun.
Family fun. There are ghosts in this. Ghosts with their tongues cut out. I'm sorry. Allow me to introduce our players. They will introduce their characters, and then we will continue our adventure. First up on the screen, first up in our hearts, it's Kathy Campbell.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I am playing Hermione, a centaur fighter who just danced on the bodies of the veterans with her hooves because they're dead, and I won.
Also joining us, James Thompson.
I'm playing NASA Nightweaver, she, her, a high elf rogue who seemingly spent a gap year as a goth circus acrobat.
Also joining us, Tiff Arment.
Hi, she, her, playing Paulie Quartz, he, him, who is about to cash in on some horse corpses in the tannery.
They're still alive!
Not for long.
Just very damaged.
They're loosened. It's it's like when it jars.
They were evil, don't worry about it.
Jason Snell, you're also here. How do you feel about horse murder?
I am playing. I'm playing. Well, so it's not murder if they're injured and you need to put them down, Tony.
Is that true? Is it not murder?
It's not.
It's still murder.
It's euthanasia.
It's humane.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
euthanasia. Yeah.
Was it possibly euthanasia because you didn't like them when you joined this darkness?
Well, I mean, if Polly goes up and goes, they'll probably. One of us says, "Well, they'll probably be fine."
How many broken legs?
I don't think so.
How many broken legs are involved?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they are. So, I am playing Nis. She is a lizard folk sorcerer currently disguised as Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor.
A deceased servant.
Yes.
And probably at this point, anyone in this situation who's conscious would recognize.
And she is holding the unconscious body of Farrell, the man with the red hat.
The elf with the red hat. The very dramatic
with the red
hat. Farrell the Hat, they call him, I've decided as of now.
Okay.
And last but not
Canon.
least, as determined by Jason Snell, who set up the order on the screen, it's Erica Ensign.
Thanks, Jason.
Not me. Not me. It's James.
Sorry, as determined by James Thompson, who's managing
Thanks,
the stream,
James.
and we appreciate somebody has to be last.
I was just being consistent with last time, so it was previous James who was bad, not James.
Well,
Yeah,
in that case, I like
James.
that guy.
James.
Yeah.
Yes, Erica Ensign, she, her. I am playing Fritatha, she, her, a Goliath barbarian that is not currently carrying a rug, but will be soon.
Okay.
Maybe. To dare to dream.
All right, we join our adventurers right off of a battle that they have amazingly won. There was a conflict with Farrell the Hat and his entourage of bodyguards. Many bodyguards were slain, and the last three heavily injured, seeing their employer held at magic force point by Nis, have surrendered. You are next to a tannery. There's a wagon that belongs to Farrell that is, I don't think it's a fixer-upper anymore. It's, there's been a small earthquake near it. A lightning bolt has shot a hole through it, and the horses in front have been badly damaged. Also, there's a wreck of smothering kind of wrapped around the yoke. So, the blue book value is not great. Now, this is an adventure that is happening in Waterdeep. At least this fight is happening in Waterdeep. Waterdeep is a dense urban city on the Sword Coast. It is usually a place of law and order. This is not some rough and tumble frontier town, let alone a dungeon where there are no laws. And the City Watch is, it has been but seconds since the fight has broken out between you and Farrell's bodyguard, and the City Watch will be converging here in moments. So I think you have not very much time to decide how are you going to play this.
Well, Tony, I want to ask, do you think it's possible for us to get the horses up and sort of slowly just roll away? Because I think that
I was
going to
ask if I could do an animal handling to see how badly. I don't know if that's the right thing to roll to see how badly wounded
Could you
they
just
are.
Explain what your objective? Your objective here is rescue 2 horses, leave.
Well, okay, so
take only horses, leave only bodies.
in being in the carriage, I know that there is a lock compartment full of stuff, and that he's been going around giving, doing payments and stuff,
doing business. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like getting us out of here into the city so that we can then go somewhere and question him, maybe on the outskirts of the city or whatever, is a way for us to get out of the City Watch's area and then wake him up and talk to him and all that while keeping all his stuff. If we can't do that, the alternative is run back inside the carriage, pull everything out of the lockbox, and then run somewhere and try to hide. My suggestion might be back into the tannery and pay the tannery people off and basically say, we'll pay you off to hide us, and this jerk, we'll pay all your salary times 2, and this jerk is going to be, nobody liked this guy, right? And then we could try that, but I feel like just
you're now a worker-owned tannery collector,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. But if we can just sort of very slowly, even with hurt horses or Hermione or I don't know what, get this wagon rolling and get out of here.
Rolling.
Give me a quick
Maybe
perception.
that would be the best thing to do.
Give me a quick perception check on the situation.
Well, I only got a 3, so I don't know what's going on. I'm just holding a
I rolled
guy.
animal handling, but not very well. So
okay, yeah, looking at it, this wagon does not look in good shape. It is. I mean, you were trying to stop it, and I think you were successful.
I mean, there's also rough terrain. You can't,
there's difficult terrain in front of it. There's also like it's still on fire, and there's a giant lightning bolt hole. I mean, it's really 2 holes when you think about it. So I think first off,
horses.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna
toss... the wagon's also very distinctive. It's
kind of a loss. Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna toss the key from Farrell to Nyasa and say, "There's a bunch of stuff locked up inside the carriage. Let's get it out of there."
I will immediately say Cuddles, release, and start winding Cuddles up.
All right. So, Nis, you're bringing Farrell with you, I assume. So you're busy hauling an elf. For Tata, you're packing up a carpet. The thugs are still just
we could roll Farrell in the carpet.
You could,
although Cuddles might kill him.
Style. Yeah, that may not be good for rugs. I mean, smothering is in the name of the rug smothering.
But surely it's an optional thing. They don't have to.
I don't know.
Well, there
if
was an adventure where the rug kept a child warm. So.
It's hard to make Cuddles behave.
The thugs are just standing there, and assuming they've dropped their weapons, their hands are still up. Assuming you're not going to do anything, they're just going to start slowly walking away backward in a non-intimidating, non-aggressive way.
Could we get
They don't want to be here any more than you do.
Could we get the thugs to hide the bodies?
I think that they just want to run. They don't want to pick up a corpse. That's how you get. That's not a good scene to be holding a corpse when the City Watch comes around the corner.
That's basically what I was trying to arrange, was them holding a corpse when the City Watch.
I don't think it's bad to have 3 thugs fleeing the crime scene.
Those are just 3 other people that'll be chased and aren't
water deep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They went
Send
that
the
way.
heat on them.
All right. So can we assume that you are basically gonna take what you can from the wagon and flee into the city? Okay. I will say that I think
skedaddle.
Your ability to flee into the city is much easier when you are not trying to roll a broken wagon pulled by 2 badly injured horses. So I appreciate the horse preservation instincts here, but you should have started that with not murdering horses.
They're not murdered.
I was on the inside.
You really put the cart before the horse. If you had done that, then the cart might have taken all the damage instead of the horses. So
somebody will probably heal these horses and use them
somebody will
on
fix
their
them up.
farm.
I
Give him a
find it
fresh-
interesting that Tiff
fresh-
is not saying
fresh-
anything since there was one person who lightning bolted the entire carriage and then earthquaked the entire front with the horses and everything.
I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, okay. It
You
was
give
just
these-
a natural. It's that kind of it's earthquake weather, man.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
there's lightning, there's earthquakes. It happens.
Those are acts
Who
of
knows
God.
where lightning comes from? It
Yeah.
just appears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
force majeure. Totally.
Mhm. You give these
Was
horses
that
a
horse
fresh
majeure?
you give these horses a fresh coat of paint, and they'll be back to work next week. So, there's a place, the horse shop with the horse spray shop.
But let's just leave them with the tannery, and I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll be fine.
All right.
Yep.
So
The awning.
you're-
Let's
you
send
are-
him to the awning.
You are dragging Farrell, a ostentatiously dressed noble who's unconscious, away from the thing. So I think there is some kind of checks are going to need to be made to basically disappear into the city streets
Okay,
and not be arrested. You hear the flutter of wings overhead. I don't know if you know this, but the City Watch has some riders on griffins who help with enforcing the law. So this
I have a
whole
thought.
the whole district is about to be shut down.
I have a thought.
Mhm.
So
Everybody to the
we
awning district.
tie him up, like, bound on my back, and put Cuddles the rug gently over it, like one of the little tapestry things that the fancy knights have.
Mhm.
So nobody can see the body on my back. And who is going to
Right.
like
I'm also-
That's not a good idea because Cuddles will then kill him and we won't be able to.
No, but Cuddles can we can tell.
he's
Cuddles
not
to
fully
chill.
wrapped around Cuddles. It's just draping. Gently.
Yeah, but Cuddles can literally smother, and that's what
Can.
they do.
Is the
Car-
opposite.
you
Cuddles
carrying
is
him
nice.
on your back is fine. I'll tell you what we should do, and what I think Nis is going to suggest is, Nis is going to disguise self as Farrell now,
Ah.
but not entirely magically. Also, she's going to take his jacket and his
the hat.
Hat.
Yeah,
That's a real hat, baby. That's not a magic hat. That's the real thing. And so he's going to be some elf who's wearing like just pantaloons or something,
Mhm.
right? Whereas I will be Farrell the elf. And if somebody stops us, I can even say, "Oh my God, those thugs, they attacked me out in front of the tannery, please." And I can deceive them that way. So that's
All
my
right.
theory. That's my suggestion.
Excellent.
I also
I'll use a
have
spell slot for that.
I have a pass without trace that gives everyone extra stealth if we need that.
Ooh.
I would do
Great.
that.
Yes.
I would love to see everybody make some kind of check to get away from this scene without being stopped for questioning. I mean,
Okay.
I think basically none of you want to file any paperwork or be held at the police station
Yeah,
for
no.
24 hours or
Okay,
anything
so
like that.
I'm gonna cast this pass without a trace, and
Yeah.
so a veil of shadows and silent radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection.
Just
For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has a +10 bonus to dexterity checks
I'm just going to mention that for
and can't be
five
tracked except for by magical means.
characters that are nominally heroic adventurers, you are real good at covering up a crime.
Who said that I was heroic?
Well, I was rounding
Nominally.
nominally
heroic.
rounding up. All right,
And technically, the crime was the attempted kidnapping of Sarah
Yeah.
of Yellow
Yeah.
Cross
Yeah.
Manor.
We just
And
protected
also her
ourselves.
previous murder.
yes.
Right. Right.
You were impersonating a ghost, sir. That was the
This is
original
just
crime.
impersonating a ghost.
Other than the
That's true.
mass murder.
No, impersonating the person that created the ghost, not the
I mean,
actual
it
ghost.
is a real game of crime ping pong where like we commit a crime, they commit a crime, it goes
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
scale of their crimes are, I think they're still up on you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
So,
All right, so everyone add +10 to their stuff.
All right.
please.
All right, so we got a lot
Plus
here.
10.
We've taken Farrell's stuff off. I now look like Farrell. We're also all together trying to pass stealthily. We got a whole stealth system going here.
yeah.
So
I-
I'm going to ask everybody to make some kind of check. You might want to do stealth because you all have a huge bonus to stealth right now, unless you are doing something else. For example, you could roll bluff or performance instead of because you're pretending to be someone else as opposed to other people who are hoping just not to be
So,
seen as they run away.
I have disadvantage on my stealth. Because
Okay.
I have big,
As do
heavy
I.
armor.
did
But still, with a +10, I still think that's
We might be
better
able
than like
to-
a performance, which for me is only a +1.
Yeah.
did,
no,
did
that's
I
true.
grab all the stuff out of the lockbox?
Yes, we'll say that you popped open the lockbox with the key, and there were several jingly jangly sacks that you got that you will open later. How's that?
Which I put in my pocket and tell nobody about.
Okay, James.
Nis knows.
Yeah.
Well, you get half.
I mean, we all heard Nis say, "Go clean out the lockbox." So.
Yeah, but he didn't say, and there are the following things in it.
No, that's true.
So the pens and the
Guys, we're arguing about
stationery.
money that you haven't even been told about yet.
I don't even care about.
Well, I have plus 20 to my stealth at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm just
Try not to roll a 1.
Disappeared.
I'm gonna roll stealth too, only because I'd rather not be seen
Yes.
than have to tell. If somebody stops me or I get in a
Yeah.
situation,
You
I will
got a
try to
plan.
perform as feral, but not
But
yet.
better to not have, anything.
Wow. Even with disadvantage, I got 27.
Wow.
Oh.
I got 31.
31.
I got 38.
19.
So my
19.
second roll was less. So and I
You take the lower
11.
one.
Yeah. So 11 plus 10, so 21.
Okay, yeah, no.
Pretty good.
It turns out
Well.
that was incredibly good using of Pass Without Trace.
Good
Thank
job.
You all basically, I imagine, kind of split up, disappear into the streets. There's chaos, right? There's, there are guards converging on this area. There's all the civilians running away, and you
And those thugs.
and those thugs, and some of whom may have just got arrested. Some of the cult fanatics and veterans, are they dead or dying? They may recover after extensive medical work. But you all head out and rejoin, meet up at a predetermined place, because that's the smart thing adventurers do. You showed up
Oh,
in
yeah.
Waterdeep,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, all right, if there's a thing, we all meet here.
Because it's a
yeah.
heist. So we
Yeah.
needed.
It's not
Yeah.
a heist.
we just stole
I
money
don't know how many
and
times
a
I have to
body.
tell you that it's not a heist.
We just stole your campaign and turned it into a heist.
All right, you are Farrell is on the back of Hermione. I
Other
don't know what
Farrell?
happens next. Yeah, Nis is current. Nis, how often can you use disguise self?
I mean, as long as I got the spell slots, I think.
Okay, so you're using spell slots, but yeah, we will assume that you maybe ducked into some alleys. You took your time meeting up. Feel free to take the whatever you would get on a short rest before this, and depending on how things play, you might be able to do a long rest before anything else. Super.
I am
important
purposely sauntering through the rug district just
happens.
so
Rug
I can
district,
blend in.
yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of people look at you like, that is not a very good rug. Who's he trying to pull?
Well, no,
Look at-
it's
look at the-
damaged, so it
look
looks
at
like
the
I'm
fire
taking it to be.
damage on that.
Yes.
Well, it looks like I'm taking it to be fixed. Where do you take a rug to get fixed?
Rug
the
district.
rug district.
Yeah, all right. Story checks out.
Yep.
Alibi, right
yeah,
there.
you
boom.
all have very good story. This is, I don't know, for a podcast that usually shows up and is like, yeah, we're tannery inspectors. These are,
In fact,
we're
Leave it to the
people that
pros.
murder people in the street, whatever that's called. These are extremely convincing, plausible stories.
It's
Are
the
there- as
city. Anyone who turns up in the city,
Yeah.
it's just that morals go out the window.
So where do we end up?
Yeah, I'm wondering, first of all, like, I'm going through the rug district. As I'm going, I'm looking specifically for a place that might have the capability to repair a magic rug. just for later.
I imagine that there is such a place in Waterdeep. It is the City of Splendors. I also imagine that repairing a magic rug is an expensive
Yeah, I just want to
investment.
know where to come.
Yeah. I
could
Maybe
fix
I will
it.
even stop and ask.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Get a quote.
Yep.
Yep.
Get a quote, get the rug fixed, and then we'll steal it back.
Mm.
I can also healing words.
This is not you. This is for Tata, who would not do that to somebody. That would be very rude.
You just send me to go pick up the rug, and then whatever happens, happens.
I
Let
picked
me-
up the rug.
I
That's
think
all
I
you
know
need
better
to know.
than to do that.
let me tell you about what you have. So I imagine that you meet up at a landmark in the dock ward, maybe near Little Ocean, the neighborhood in the dock ward. The Waterdeep is known. It has a lot of major kind of statues as landmarks. It's kind of one of Waterdeep's defining urban characteristics, and maybe that was one of the first things you saw getting off the dog ear, the boat that you took from Candlekeep to Waterdeep, and you're like, oh yeah, look at that. And so that was your natural meeting point. I guess this has all happened basically within like your first few hours in Waterdeep. So like, you don't have a place to stay for the night yet. You don't know where you're going to eat dinner, but several people have been murdered and you've abducted an elf. I guess this is mainly information for Nyasa, but in the lockbox of Farrell's coach, about 40 gold pieces mainly in silver and copper and a little bit of gold from various things going out about the day. He both collecting money and paying out. And also in there a potion of healing, a superior potion of healing.
Oh, that sounds good.
So why don't you mark down that you have a superior potion of healing on your character sheet for now, and you have 40 gold pieces that you may or may not share with other people. Hermione, I don't know if these would be with Hermione or with Nis, who kind of just stole Farrell's look. Farrell has 20 gold pieces on his person and jewelry worth 20 gold pieces on his in the form of his necklace. And rings
I took
and
all
whatnot.
that too.
All right,
I got his. I'm wearing his jewelry, so it's not magic fake.
Okay.
Yes, the actual jewelry, and I've got I'm
so
trying to be
Nis,
as
you
realistic.
have equivalent of 40 gold pieces worth of currency from Farrell.
Were those maces or the weapons from the people any good?
They weren't good enough to stop and pick up on the way from a felony.
Got it.
So,
I need a new weapon.
If you want to if you want to say that you grabbed a mace, feel free to add a mace to your character sheet. I think you wouldn't probably, and there was a thug right by you. I think you weren't going to cross the street to pick up the 2 other maces. But
no, just one would be good. I just think I need something better than my crap club.
Yeah, feel free to say that you have a mace now. So, you're standing at the, at an intersection, in the dock ward of Waterdeep. What happens next, team?
Who of us is the most familiar with Waterdeep in terms of knowing a place that we could go to sort of lie low?
I feel
I've been here before.
I feel Nyasa would probably know places to lie low.
That was my thought.
Yeah,
to hide.
Somewhere that we can spend some of this money to have a unquestioned,
quiet, no questions asked.
Yeah, quiet, maybe sound controlled, soundproof.
Yeah, there's
a warehouse,
a gentle conversation.
There's a basement that I can recommend. I've used it before.
I will say, God, Waterdeep is a major urban center with all levels of accoutrements, and I would imagine, especially the dock ward caters to a certain class of individual / criminal, and probably I think surprisingly slightly expensive to get a murder hole, because part of what you're paying for is discretion.
Yeah.
You are not paying for furniture or anything else.
Is Nyasa in the Assassin's Guild or on the run from the Assassin's Guild?
She's not on the run from them. She worked for them, and
are your dues paid up?
Well, the last thing you want is to owe the Assassin's Guild, though, right?
You missed the backstory that Nasa's sister was in the Assassin's Guild. So we patched everything up. It's good. We run a murder spa now.
Oh yeah.
So I'm good.
Surely Nyasa knows somewhere in this place for.
All right, Nyasa, you pay 5 gold pieces to get a murder hole, which is like
interrogation room.
Yeah. It is a dark, dank basement with just a grill and a lot of stains.
We don't want him to be comfortable. Right. We want him to be terrified.
Yeah,
right? Come on.
It is underneath an abattoir, and between 2 pet shops.
Would you say that this is a lair? So did I get this from Lair B&B?
Yeah, but it's small. Yeah.
Basically, what Frittata is going to do is take her giant maul and sort of set it on the ground, so like the business end is on the bottom, and put her hands on top of it and just look intimidating. So as soon as this guy wakes up, I make an intimidation check, which, let's see, is only a 10. It's dark in here, I guess.
All right, yeah.
That's fine. I rolled a 16.
All right. So several hours later, you're all rested up. You've done everything. You've slightly
Do we get a full rest?
Yeah, you can get
short rest. Right?
Just take a long rest. It's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay, then I'll take back those.
Confirm,
let me say,
baby.
I think at this point, staying off the streets is probably a good thing. So why not, right?
Yeah.
You've slightly adjusted the torches so that they flicker extra annoyingly in the murder hole. And Farrell kind of groggily comes through. Where is my hat?
And Nis is standing there wearing his hat and his it's Nis now, visibly a lizard person, but she is wearing his hat and his jacket and his jewelry still.
Those
You mean this whole thing?
Those are mine. You'll pay for this. When Lord Vialis hears of this, you will regret the day that you crossed Pharaoh the elf.
You think you're getting out of here?
I know I am getting out of here. I will serve Lord Vialis till the end. If not in life, then in death. He starts trying to chew his own tongue.
Ooh.
Does that
Wait,
mean
chew his own
anything?
tongue?
Yeah.
Well, just because we
Maybe
know
it's because
all
he
those
has
people
Pull off his
have
own
tongues.
tongue.
No.
He has extra tongues.
He's
There's
got
a whole tongue
just-
thing with this.
Just the one.
No, he has
we have
extra,
a-
so he doesn't mind using his.
Do we have a charm or hold or something we could do on him to make him
I have a charm
talk
person.
to us?
Can we like put a rope between his teeth so he can't chew? I mean,
Well, he
that's
does need
what I
to
would do.
talk, but yeah, we need to pacify him first. I think.
Yeah. Because we got to do something to keep his mouth from.
I mean,
moving.
I could put a stick in it if I need to, but I'm gonna let Polly try the charm person thing first, and if that doesn't work, then
Mhm.
yeah.
I can also speak telepathically to him, so if we bind his mouth.
I'm also gonna make an Arcana check because I want to know if there's something like spell
Is
going
he
on,
under control of something? Oh, that's
or is the
Ooh,
chewing
yeah,
the
check that
tongue
first.
something that can trigger something that will hurt the rest of us, considering how everybody involved in those deaths lost their
yeah.
tongues.
good. But we
Ooh.
should charm him. For
That
sure.
is a crit, which I know you can't crit on a skill check, but that's 25.
Nothing seems magical about this frittata. It just seems really sad.
Oh, okay.
Cult enthusiast.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay,
so,
charm him, Paulie.
Yep. All right. Go ahead. Give me that wisdom saving.
Now, I will tell you, Farrell is an elf, and elves, because of their Fey ancestry, have advantage against being charmed.
Do you have Tiff, do you have inspiration?
No, I don't.
Also,
Oh,
I think
you didn't
And it
get
wouldn't
that?
matter because
And
it's
any
a
like
saving throw.
higher level that I
Oh,
charm, it
that's
just
true.
adds a person
Yeah.
to it. So
Yeah.
I'm just doing level 1.
Farrell rolled a 21, which I suspect, beats your thing.
yeah,
seems-
I can't charm this guy.
He seems unfazed. Yeah, it's hard to charm
He's
elves.
Okay,
unfazed.
time for
All right,
Frittata
I-
to intimidate.
Or
I pick up a filthy stick off the ground and like jam it in his mouth sideways so that he can't chew off
All
his own
right,
tongue.
he's chewing that stick real hard.
and I'm holding his like shoulders, arms behind him, so he can't like. So
Holding
he's-
someone's shoulders behind them really hurts.
like,
Ouch.
shoulders, arms.
Yeah,
What-
got
some-
it. You've
yes.
restrained.
She's a
him,
horse.
Hermione.
She doesn't know
restrained
the
him.
anatomy
Yeah.
of bipeds.
Yeah.
Humans.
Nis takes off the hat
Oh.
and says, "You want your hat? Then talk."
Farrell kind of nods while still trying to chew the stick.
I can pull the stick out
Okay.
and be like,
I put the hat on his head, and I say, "There's more where that came from." As I finger his jewelry.
Oh,
If you talk, if you don't talk, we're gonna do something to that hat.
not the hat. Well, I guess except that he's got a stick in his mouth, so it sounds like.
no, I pulled it out so he could talk.
Oh, not the hat.
Well, then tell us, where is your master? What is he doing?
It doesn't matter. You will not be able to stop him.
Oh, well, if it doesn't matter, then tell us.
Well, he lives in Greenfast now. He sends me here to do his biddings in Waterdeep.
Wow, you gave that up real fast.
Uh,
What
It's a
are his
good hat.
biddings here? Just his money, or are you doing other things?
I collect the money he is owed by these pathetic servants.
What do you know about the rituals?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's
Insight.
not true.
yeah.
Oh, wow, that was another 20, which gives me 19.
Yes.
Also, I literally mentioned the rituals to him and he freaked out earlier,
Yes,
so I know
yes.
that it's not
If you
true.
were playing the game
Yeah.
LA Noire, he would have done the things where his eyes went all crazy when you said the word.
Yeah.
You know, you don't believe that he doesn't know about the rituals.
Sarah mentioned the rituals to you and you freaked out. So we know you know about the rituals.
You'll get nothing more from me. Give me the stick back.
I take the hat.
I'm gonna hold
jam
my
the-
short.
I
I'm gonna
jam the stick into his thigh.
Oh no.
I thought you were the good
hold
one.
the sword up against the hat.
I'm chaotic good. And this
I'm
guy's
holding
evil,
the hat.
so...
Just be careful. I'm holding it.
Do we still have the
I put the
book?
hat back on.
Okay.
Do we still have the book that Sarah
Yes.
is hanging out
I
in?
believe so.
Hermione had it last, I think.
You did make a whole deal
In
of,
my saddlebag.
you know, they make such a big deal in the Candlekeep adventures about how the books that kick off every adventure can't leave Candlekeep, and you all have stolen every book.
Well, yeah, we need to be able to reference.
And it's just, I just,
They just didn't anticipate Polly's pants.
whoever wrote these adventures, so naive, so
Yeah.
so
So
trustworthy.
innocent.
Really.
And when we're going to return the books, and we're going to get a reward for the return.
Right.
How do you want to play this next? He does seem, I think you have learned from him the location of a place called Greenfest. Somebody could make a history check to know what that means.
Was that vest with a V or past with a P?
Green Fast with an F?
Oh, none of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I am great at enunciating.
I'm curious if he was there during the ritual that killed Sarah. So I whispered to Hermione, maybe you should bring out the book and call her and see if we can get her to point at him and accuse and see if that shakes anything loose.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hermione is going to do that.
Okay.
Haha!
I
Have a
believe
book.
that if you hold up the book and speak Sarah's name, the ghost of Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor will appear. And so the kind of blue face of the horrible ghost that is, well, not, I mean,
She's
she's
not
fine,
horrible.
but
She's
you know,
perfectly
she's
nice.
suffering, tragic ghost.
Okay, yeah.
That
Okay, there we
is
go.
Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor appears next to you, looking forlorn. I think the second time today that you have summoned her in Waterdeep. The first time at the site of her murder. Nice guys. You know, and now
We're
she's
just
now,
showing her.
now
we're
she's
showing her
standing
we've
in
made
yet
progress.
another basement. You bring her to the best places.
Right. And we're
She looks at all of you mournfully.
What
Just-
what is the reaction of the elf dude?
Terror?
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
love
like
that.
that.
He's
Love that
in
for
a
us.
murder dungeon and you just summoned a ghost. So
Sarah, was he there?
did you all
when you
kill
were
her?
murdered?
She was
Oh, did he say that?
Yes, I mean she was alive minutes ago, as far as he
That's
knows, or
right.
hours.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you may have created a timeline issue for Farrell, but that's I don't think we're that
Don't
worried
care.
about him solving the mystery.
No, he's
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah, he's.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I asked if he was there
Oh, you asked
during
Sarah.
the ritual that killed her. Yeah. Always yes or no questions.
Yes,
we
always
know.
yes or no questions because she has no tongue. Sarah kind of looks at him kind of confusedly, looks at all of you kind of uncertain, and
Right. Then I put the hat on him.
shakes her head no.
Okay.
Okay.
I take the hat back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got what I
Farrell
wanted. If
weeps
anybody else has
softly.
questions for her.
Well,
Hatless.
Nyasa says to Farrell, "Well, I think we're just going to leave you here with Sarah, and if there's nothing else that you can tell us, we're just going to have to let her have her revenge."
Do your worst.
She doesn't have her tongue.
Yeah. What is his reaction to that?
He looks kind of just irate. That it is the master's will. You will not defeat him.
Can we just leave this guy here and get over to
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look down at him.
Greenfast?
making another intimidation check and say, oh my God, I'm terrible at intimidation. I'm just too nice at heart, I guess. That was like a 6. And I say, look around at us. What makes you think that we're not going to be able to stop, what's his face, your boss dude?
Nothing will stop the Temple of the Burnt Tongue. And he rocks back and forth in the chair and falls backward, knocking himself out.
Sweet.
Sure. That's exactly what I was hoping for, that I would spur him onto saying something that would give us some information. And now he's unconscious, which is also a bonus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody know anything about the cult of the Burned Tongue?
Let's find out. With
the temple?
No, not Arcana.
History?
History?
Religion? Like which?
Give me some
all these
things.
Nis is going to roll religion.
I got a 12 in history.
It's only a 7.
Multiple people are rolling multiple things here.
I got a 5 for history, so
Hermione, you don't know what's going on. Polly,
Yep.
what did you roll? What number did you roll, and what were you trying to think about?
12 in history, Temple of the Burnt Tongue.
That is not a temple that you are familiar with. Nis?
I'm unfamiliar with this temple.
7 in religion.
You have not heard of anything like that, but you suspect. Let me say, this is not one of your kind of big cults.
A-list cult.
Yeah, this is not an A-list cult. This is not like the Snake People cult. It's not an Orcus cult. This is like a regional cult at best.
I got a 17 on let's say history.
And what were you trying to know the history of?
The Temple of the Burnt Tongue.
That is not a temple that you have heard of. So this does not sound like where this thing that Farrell has mentioned is not something kind of known to you in terms of the history of the area, the history of religion. This is not, that would not be if you went looking for that landmark. That is not a thing that you would know. Not listed on any travel guides.
Fair.
While everyone's trying to think up this, I'm tying up the elf.
Okay.
Well, he's already tied up.
Now he's really tied up.
Do we need
Extra,
to?
Yeah. It's called insurance.
Do we need to
Making
tie
sure.
somebody up that we're just about to kill?
I think Sarah.
No, we're gonna leave him as a present to our Lair B&B owner.
I paid extra for the lair that has the chute.
I think
so. We just
I'm
stick
just,
the body
I'm just
in
saying
there.
if you do not want to know what the cleaning fees on Lair B&B if you do not take your corpses with you.
He's not dead. He's just unconscious.
Pre-corpses with you. I think Sarah of
Future
Yellowcrest
corpses.
Manor is probably going to kind of fade back away unless.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's fine.
Shall we take this body to Greenfest?
Yeah, I mean, he might have more information.
Yeah.
We might be able to get more information out of him just by seeing what he looks at and towards and away from when we wake him up if we get close to where we want to be.
Again, was it
In the
fest
meantime,
or fast?
we can Bernie's him.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
He'll be
I want to do
riding
that.
on Hermione and being
Yeah.
like, yep, he's real happy.
It's alive on the boat.
So where is Greenfast?
Hey,
Does
everybody.
anybody know?
Somebody.
Is it fast or fest?
It is fast. Green as in the color, fast as in FAST in the.
I don't even know what
Oh.
to roll for that.
probably
There's
history.
no geography.
Geography is just map history.
I thought it was that good festival.
16.
No, that's what the festival
Mm.
is called.
And it does. I think
every
Greenfast
summer.
has your classic D&D location name where we just take two nouns and smush them together. Love it.
Yep.
Yep.
Always good.
Somebody, I think Furtata rolled a 16.
Yes. Yeah.
Furtata,
All I do right now is travel. I'm
Yeah.
looking for my brother. Maybe I stopped there looking
you
for
are
him.
well traveled. You may have even traveled through Greenfast or near it. It is a village in the greater Waterdeep area. Greater in that it's about a day's travel southeast of Waterdeep. It's on a major trade route. Maybe you pass by or near it. It's basically a small farming town.
All right. Well, folks, that's the direction that we need to go. Maybe we need to hire a wagon or a
I know where you can get a
carriage if
great
we're
deal
gonna-
BYO horses.
I think we should go for something a little more nondescript and a little less toasted.
little less lightning.
Constatations
Yeah.
or burned.
All right. Well, you do. At least some of you have a decent amount of recently acquired money that you can use to
Coins,
finance your expedition.
I'm also flush with cash.
So,
Yeah.
I don't think I have any on my character sheet, but it seems unrealistic that I'm walking around just completely broke.
With nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, I paid for a whole boat here, so
Yeah.
I mean, a little wagon. Come on.
Yeah. So we'll we'll hire a stagecoach, basically.
We'll get one of the good ones, I think.
Mhm.
Luxury.
We don't want it to be too good.
No,
we wanna
just like
blend.
outfitted
Just room for
nicely on the
solid.
inside.
On the inside.
Room for a corpse.
It's
All
got
right.
blacked out windows. You know, just very.
Is there going to
stuff.
be one that's going to fit both for Tata and Hermione?
Hermione might need to just
Yeah, I'm just
ride
gonna
along.
That's really
gallop
rude.
along. Yeah.
Well, she's used to it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could walk
That
along
doesn't
too.
make it
That's
right.
like
Maybe Frittata just rides
So
on Hermione.
no,
With the little legs, like helping. So we're basically like a little bug.
I'm 8 feet tall. No, I'll just walk along, and Hermione and I'll just chat while
Okay.
you guys
Yeah.
are all in the.
it looks
the
like
carriage.
I was just curious. Buying a wagon, it would cost a decent amount. It looked like you could basically pay to get
Rent.
coach fare on a wagon doing that's transporting goods and passengers
Great.
for a gold piece each.
I don't
that's
know
nothing.
about that because we've got an unconscious
You do.
person
Yeah,
with
I
us.
think
I think we
once-
need to rent
Just
a
roll 'em in
carriage.
the rug.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you, I don't know if you really want to be walking around with a guy, an unconscious
I
guy.
said we should.
So
I
Yeah.
said we should kill him, but
so
I think that he's got information that
He
might
can
might
just
be
be
useful.
on my back. It's fine.
put him in the rug.
I think he's a small fish, and you got what you need from him. You throw him back, or murder him. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to murder him.
Throw him in the dock.
Okay,
We're at
so-
the dock ward, right?
Yeah.
all right, yeah, no, I think it's good. I think we've.
I
got
just don't
what
want
we
to. I
need
don't
from
want to
him.
manage
Let's,
an unconscious
take-
body. I'll be honest.
Right.
You know,
If
valid.
you insist on it, he will wake up at an inconvenient time. That I promise you.
I want to strip him naked and
whoa.
dump him in the worst neighborhood.
All right, it is the worst neighborhood. Is
And then-
conveniently where you are.
And
Right,
right, so
no
we
one
just
can
outside the
rob
door,
him.
we dump him
Yeah.
naked, and then we
Yeah.
we jet,
Let
we
it-
rent, we
Can we
Take
put
the hat.
Can we
Take
put
We're
the
gonna put a sign on his back that says
I
like,
hate
me?
poor people
Yeah.
or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
like ask me about my
hat,
kidnapping.
which he doesn't have.
How bad is this neighborhood? There are already 3 unconscious bodies in the alley. When you go to add it,
All right, he's number 4. There he goes.
Stack them.
Perfect.
We put sunglasses on him and prop him up in the middle.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
All right. Well, you know, at this point, an elf with, he has no identification, he has no hat, he has nothing, and no money. His ability to do anything that would impact you in any way is going to be severely limited. He's socially dead and financially dead, if not.
I'm sure he can make a good living at the docks.
All right. So we'll assume you each spend 1 gold piece each and arrange to get dropped off on the outskirts of.
We'll pretend
Pass.
I had a gold
We'll
piece
pretend
then.
you had exact.
Well, I got you covered.
We'll
I-
cover
I
it.
was
Whoever
gonna
can
say
do it,
for
I can-
Tata and I don't need to pay because we're gonna
Okay.
walk
It's true.
beside the thing. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna pay to
Just to walk
the-
along next
yeah.
to
All
it. No.
I found a
They should pay us
convenient bags
for-
of
You know
money.
what? Guess
Guard
what?
duty.
They pay you 2 gold pieces to escort duty. Guess what? That evens out with the people who paid to ride in the wagon. So
Nice.
Yeah,
No, I'm
but
taking those gold
I
pieces.
know I get 2.
I'm just trying to make the math easy, people. Come on.
That's fine.
It's really easy.
We
You
we
just
have
put the number
we
in
have
and
the
then you
whole
hit
You
add.
just subtract
contents
one.
of the
Yeah.
lockbox, which is I'm just going to assume a lot of money.
Yeah, well,
There
40
was,
gold pieces.
at least 10
and
gold pieces
and
in
his
there.
purse, and the value of his
Yeah.
jewels and his jewelry
And his hat.
Mhm.
That hat's worth
The
100
hat,
at least.
priceless.
We're not selling that hat.
Yeah,
I'm not
no.
selling a hat. No.
No, we've
you
adopted
may
that
wish to
hat
think
now.
of
This is holding
you
on
may
to the
wish
hat.
to think about the implications of wearing a very distinctive hat into the small farming village of Greenvest, or not. I don't know. Why do I even say anything to players?
I mean, we might want to keep it hidden
Yeah.
until we meet up with the boss man and then pull it out and put it on.
Well, yeah, we need
Ah.
Nis is also leaving open the possibility of again disguising
Pretending to be-
herself
Yeah.
as Feral
All right.
Smart.
with the real
Yeah, I'm
hat.
actually, just for the record, Frittata is actually trying to do a very good job of guard duty for this caravan as we go along. So if anybody
She's earning her
messes with us, I am bringing the hammer down for them all as
All
the
right.
case may be.
So it takes you a full day. So we'll assume you head out the next morning and arrive at the village of Greenfast just as the sun is setting. It is, as aforementioned, a small farming village located not far off the main kind of trade route southeast of Waterdeep, along a broad creek that flows into a major river. It seems like it's a relatively prosperous area where things are doing well. The farms look like they're busy and well upkept, and you see lots of people working in the fields and farm animals doing stuff as you head toward there, and everything seems pretty good. The caravan that you travel with feels fortunate to have Frittata and Hermione on guard duty with them. They have seems like several guards with them because they do mention that there have been a kind of an uptick in people getting attacked and robbed and abducted
I make friends
on the
with the
roads
guards.
near Greenfast. And roll charisma.
Sure. Just straight up charisma.
Mhm.
19.
They are very impressed by you and your various stories that you tell
I have
about
so many stories
their
and
travels.
poems. So
And they just,
many poems.
Frittata, I wish we get to work every caravan shift with you. The days just fly by, and I'm sure with you around, nothing bad.
Thanks, Reg.
Nothing bad will happen to this caravan. And strangely, nothing bad happens to the caravan. You reach Greenfast
Hooray!
without incident.
Mhm.
Who would have predicted that?
I say a fond farewell to my new best friends.
All right. This caravan rolls off into the evening. They're going to try and get to a more major settlement a little ways south of here before
Take care.
they might have to camp on the road or get somewhere else for the night. But you are there just as dusk is rolling in. Do I have a map of Greenfast that I am going to show you? Yes, I do.
Yay.
Hooray!
Okay.
Love
this
a map.
is Greenfast. As you can see, it's just a little farming community. There is an area where there's a bunch of houses kind of clustered together, but they're not packed in together like an urban place. They've got kind of a decent amount of expanse. It's not laid out in a grid. It's all kind of windy with little cow paths and a stream or a brook that cuts through the town. There's some places where some the houses are more like cottages than houses. Some of them are kind of a little uphill from each other, and it looks like a lovely place. It does not seem like it is a place with much kind of commercial footprint. Not a place that seems like it probably gets even a lot of travelers or tourists or adventurers. It seems like it's mainly
before my new best friends trundle
Reg.
off in the caravan. I have asked Reg and Delilah. Those are
Reg and
the
Delilah.
other guards.
Mhm.
Yep. Asked them what they know about Greenfast. Tried to get as much information, and it might not be much. And if they have had any previous caravan folks, people who have taken the caravan to get to Greenfast, who seem particularly friendly or open-minded, or that might have information about where to stay if you come to Greenfast for the first time. Just trying to get as much information as possible.
Well, Reg tells you, the only place to really stay in Greenfast is the Bulging Cauldron Tavern, and it's a tiny little place. That's why caravans don't stay here overnight. Couldn't put us all up. But it's run by Old Fargo. He's good people. I don't know if he'd remember me, but the Bulging Cauldron, really,
All right.
your only option other than camping out under the stars. And Delilah
both
says, I just don't know about some of those Greenfast people. Most of them are nice, but some of them real weirdos.
Oh yeah, which part of town are those weirdos in?
Oh, I don't know. I think they're all over.
Weird. How I say conspiratorially.
Oh, they got the spooky eyes. Sometimes they got those weird little curved daggers. Talking about the outer planes and how we're all gonna serve them in the end. It's just
Totally normal.
Every town has their own little peculiar tics.
Would you describe
Gotcha.
the air as smelling like burnt tongue?
I don't think so. Is that
What
no?
does that
It mainly
smell
smells like it's more of a cow manure, I would say.
That covers up the smell of the burnt tongue quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna have to murder a whole town.
To the
aren't we?
tavern.
All right. Yeah, I think we should go to the tavern.
All right, it is evening. You head into the tavern. The Bulging Cauldron, it has a warm, homey feel, filled with locals who are pouring in at the end of the day. A lot of good farm people here enjoying steaming bowls of stew for their supper. And you assume that the proprietor, who's kind of heading around making sure that people have their tankards of mead and their bowls of stew, that must be Old Fargo, as mentioned by Reg. He's wearing kind of a flannel shirt and I don't know what a riding hat is. The adventure says he's wearing a riding hat.
One of those helmets?
I don't.
That's what I was
The black felt helmets?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just listed here as if that's a thing I would know what it means. I Google search for riding hat and I get like weird little black velvet helmets that like fancy rich people are wearing.
The little brim, the tiny that does nothing.
I will say I read this early, of course, as I do because I'm a dungeon master, and it said that he's wearing a flannel shirt, and I was like, did they have flannel back then? I don't know. That seems like a more complicated fabric than, but you know.
I mean, flannel is the material, not the pattern. So you could have something that's just
so you can
brown
have
flannel.
Okay, I imagine like he was wearing like a red and green, and I was like, do they have textiles that complicated? Anyway.
But yes, also they would. They totally
all right.
would.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're going to come and revoke my textile studies merit badge.
Yes.
So there are a decent number of commoners here because you've arrived at dinner time, and Old Fargo is attending to stuff. He sees you all come in. It looks like you are probably, just based on that you do not look like farmers, and everybody else here does, the only out-of-town people. And Old Fargo kind of like points with his thumb, gestures to a table in the corner that there's some open spots at.
Does he also have a riding crop?
Do you want him to,
like
Tiff?
knee-high boots?
Little jumper pants, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, Old Fargo, the jockey.
We should introduce him to Hermione.
World building.
That's rude.
Old Fargo comes over. I guess that the Bulging Cauldron is the kind of place where they just assume that you want the only thing they serve, and puts fresh steaming bowls of stew in front of you and just says, welcome to the Bulging Cauldron. Good to see people from out of town. Water or beer?
It doesn't just say breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the menu.
Yep.
I'll say thank you so much.
It just says stew.
We just came in on the
stew,
caravan.
lunch, stew.
Reg spoke very highly of your establishment, so we decided we would...
I remember Reg. With red hair, a bit of an overbite.
Yep.
Yeah, he's good people.
Yes, yeah, had a great time. Helped out Hermione here, and I helped out guarding the garden caravan as we came through, and we just decided we needed a bit of a rest here. So thank you. Oh, the stew smells amazing. Could I get a second bowl, please?
Oh, you got it, hun. It's good to have people visiting us. It's we don't get much out here, and some people like the quiet. I like to see some new faces from now. Second stew coming right up. He hustles off to get you second stew.
Let's ask about what's his name? Who do we? Lord Vialis.
Mm-hmm. He comes back with more stew and waters or beers for people, as depending on what you indicated, and is putting them in front of people at the table.
We heard that
I'm tucking in.
You've had some there's some richer folk out here. Lord Vialis, I heard, moved out here.
Don't get me started on that guy. I don't, big city money guys, people coming in, changing the whole town. Not a fan. Not a fan.
How'd he change the whole town?
Well, he's fixing up an old ruin outside of town, and well, I shouldn't say anything. I don't want to get anybody in trouble here, but
no, it's fine. We're all friends here. You're good.
Let us
people.
buy
We're
you
good
a
people.
drink.
yeah. Well, I got plenty. Trust me. But some people around here, he kind of leans in this to be right next to you. He says, so I'm sure Lord Vialis has his fans among here, and I wouldn't want any unkind word to get back to him.
Are they kind of weirdos?
Well, yeah.
I love this guy.
All right,
I know
like
this guy.
Like the curved dagger.
Weirdos. It breaks my heart. My son, young Fargo. he got mixed up with those, and it's we got a simple life here in Greenfast. We don't need money. We don't need trouble. We keep things are simple. You work the fields. Maybe you take care of people in the public house, but some of the people here, good people, taken in by the money and
By the city money.
Do you want us to?
It's just I don't know. I feel like back in the day this thing didn't happen, but it must be 5 years now that since Lord Vialis rolled into town.
I mean, do you want us to look out for your son? Get him out of this situation that
find
he's. Because that's kind of a thing we do.
Just tell him I miss him. He should stop by. It's been weeks since he's
Is everything
come home.
happening? It's been weeks, and you say tell him to stop by. Is everything just happening out at Vialis's place?
I think so.
Is that where it all goes on?
He's got like a house in town, but I think he's working on the old ruins, and he kind of there's like a map of the area up on the wall at the tavern, because that's how it works. If I ever own a bar, which I never will, there will be maps above every booth.
Okay.
Yes.
And he
if his son isn't named Wells, I'm quitting.
No, he's young Fargo.
I did say it was.
He already said
sorry, but
Oh, his name is Young.
Sorry,
yeah, young Fargo. But
Fargo the Younger.
His middle
it's a
name is
nickname.
Wells.
Yeah,
Yes.
young Wells Fargo. I'm sorry, Tiff. The adventure doesn't live up to your
I'm out.
trademark infringing needs.
He'll always be Wells in my heart.
So he points out what? He points out where the
Yeah.
ruins are, where his house is in town.
I don't think there's a street map of the town. I think there's a map of the local area, and he points out that here's the town and here's the river, and over here it's maybe an hour walk is there's an old crumbling tower that he's gonna fix up into some kind of, well, I don't know, it's ruins. It's been there forever.
Oh, okay. But not like a big fancy temple or a manor house or anything, just a tower.
I think it was like a watchtower or a signal tower, but probably hundreds of years ago when kids used to play there. It's
He's a rich guy. Does he live out there, or does he just stay in town and have workers out there?
I don't know his coming and goings, but he was supposed to be fixing it up. That's what I heard.
Really, I would think that he'd have a fancy coach or something that would take him around, and everyone would know when he was passing through.
I don't think so. Roads around here aren't great for coaches.
Oh.
And you said he had a place in town?
Oh yeah, he gives you a description of where it is relative to the tavern. Are these things labeled on this map? G2 is right here, this little kind of corner-shaped building. That is the Bulging Cauldron, and he tells you that Lord of Vialis's house is over here. It's like, cross the brook, go over the bridge, follow the path. Don't take your first right, but you'll go up the hill a little bit and go right, and it's the second house. So.
Okay. What time of day is it?
It's
Evening.
evening. It's supper time, dinner time. It's dark out.
This is a farming community. It is supper time.
Oh, thank you, Wisconsin.
So, do we think he is going to be in his house or in his lair?
I think we should sleep for the night and then tackle things tomorrow.
Yep.
You don't think we should scope out his place just while we're in nearby? I could have a look through a few windows. Just
I am not sneaky or subtle, so I am not going anywhere near the place until we're actually ready to do anything. So,
I mean, I could do a scout.
Yeah, I mean, if a
can
couple
go with
of the sneakier folks want to wander off, I will. The next time he comes by, I will ask Old Fargo. First of all, is this place? Does it obviously have rooms to rent at all?
It does not obviously, but it does have rooms to rent. It has basically 2 rooms. They're very modest accoutrements.
Is there also a stable? Fritata actually prefers to just hang out and bed down in the stable. Beds in most inns are way too small.
And Hermione
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
okay.
So
Well,
I will try to make
we should take the
arrangements
rooms.
with Old Fargo to get both of the rooms and a couple of stalls in the.
I would say it costs it's a few gold pieces for all
We got
of
the
you.
money.
And he insists on giving you the Friends of Reg price. So
Oh,
stew, unlimited stew included.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Well,
Tata around.
Did you mark the Did you mark the ruins on the map?
No,
they're
the
outside of
ruins.
town.
They would be. They're an
They're
hour. They're an hour outside of town.
Okay,
So
okay.
they are not on on this map. And let's see. Waterdeep is north of here. Daggerford is the next, mid-level city that's south of here. And this is kind of, on near a trade route that connects those two cities. The ruins are not on the map because the map is just the kind of, you're looking at a street map or up,
Well,
view
we could-
of Greenfast. It's a hour trek into the wilderness but roughly where it is. Probably not your best bet to go looking for it in the middle of the night, but I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how to live.
I think
there's a question of whether we all should go to, within shouting distance of his place and then have the stealthy people stealth around and see what they can do in the night, in under cover of darkness. But I wouldn't want to leave people back at the tavern just in case something bad happens.
Yeah, I can do a telepathic link, so I can
How far? That's not line of sight?
No, it is. Let me see. With 1 mile, so
The ruins are 3 miles.
Yeah, but if we're
I mean his house in town.
His house is. You can see it from where you're standing.
Yeah.
You've gone for a nice little. You got to work off the stew. Little cool evening stroll around the.
So
there's some.
Checking out the bridge.
There are some farmers
Checking out the
out front smoking pipes and talking farming
you
stories.
can hang out on
One
the bridge.
time I grew a gourd, it was this big, and the other
hang out on
farmer
the
is like,
bridge.
"Well, I grew a gourd, it was this big." Sorry,
And let the stealthy people be stealthy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And just investigate a little
Yeah.
around the grounds.
yes.
I will point out this is a town, so you've been pointed out where Lord Vialis' house is. There are other houses in the area, and this is not a place like Waterdeep where there's like lots of people coming and going. So your movements in town, unless you're being extremely stealthy, may be somewhat conspicuous and noticed, right? Or at least somebody would be like, "Oh, someone's walking down the street in the middle of the night. That's weird." That doesn't happen here.
No, I think
This is small
Hermione.
town.
Like I will specifically say to Old Fargo, well, Hermione and I like to take a little walk around before we bed down, and I
Good
think we will
idea.
try to be pretty conspicuous, like checking out the bridge and like this beautiful stream and stuff like that. And then I will whisper to Polly, maybe you could cast Pass Without Trace on like Nis and Nyasa and yourself,
Yep.
and
Ah.
then we could be like Hermione and I are, chattering,
Distraction.
and tossing stones into the water, like right there, while the rest of you are passing without trace.
And I will tell
All
you,
right.
we have established that Pass Without Trace is so good that you're basically in walking around a farm town at night. You'll be invisible. You'll move from shadow to
and
shadow.
Cuddles is in the stables right now.
Okay.
Like, fed
Izzy,
down.
how close is
Smothering
a
a
horse?
horse.
No. We have
horses everywhere we go.
so much
A lot of horse
death.
death.
So
No,
much
no.
horse death.
we have 2 stalls. One of them has Cuddles in it, and it's nowhere near a horse.
And there's like a special sign that you now travel with. It's like, do not
Do not
approach
feed
roads.
horses.
Yeah.
I mean,
do
I
not
prefer to
feed
sleep.
horses to this rug.
I actually sleep on Cuddles because we've trained Cuddles well enough to recognize me, but it's still not super great. So I get
No.
like
It's
it's like a
just
weighted
like a
blanket
weighted
because
blanket,
I'm a
yeah.
big Goliath, and it's like a
Just-
nice hug.
All right. I remind me. So Hermione and Frittata, you are loud distraction people, and
Yep.
the other 3 of you are sneaky people, and you want to sneak up
Sure.
the hill and check around Lord Vialis's cottage, as
Yeah.
was
Which of us
indicated to
do you have the James? Which of us did Nyasa make the telepathic link with?
I can do both of you, so I can do 3 people. So I'll do the 2 of you.
Okay.
All right.
Wait.
So it is dark. There are, some of the towns in some of the towns. There's only one town. Some of the houses in town, clearly have little lanterns burning in them. Some of them are dark either because there's no one home or the people home are asleep. As you kind of sneak over in the direction of that cottage indicated to you as Lord Vialis' house, it is it is a relatively nice looking house. It looks noticeably a little bit kind of fancier and bigger and a little bit more ornate and ostentatious than the other more modest cottages and farmhouses around you. It also looks dark. There's no lights in any of the rooms. Nobody's around outside. There's no sign of any horses, or it doesn't look like some of the other maybe places that you pass by might have had like a pony or a couple chickens in a little yard next to them. And this Lord Vialis' house looks pretty quiet.
So I turn to the others and say, "So you up for a heist?"
Always.
What are you heisting?
Well, we
asking out
don't
of
know
character.
yet, but it will retroactively be a
I think we're
heist if we
just
find something
supposed to be
good.
poking around to see.
Yeah, well,
we're not
we
trying
could-
to get into trouble.
We could poke around inside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It is just
I
it
can
is just
also
a
wild
house.
shape and get
Oh.
in there.
Yeah, it's
I
just
mean-
a house, so it's not it's not like sneaking
Not a
into
castle.
a castle or a fortress or somewhere. It has multiple entry points. It's got windows and doors.
I figure
know.
the place wouldn't
Oh, wow.
exist unless it had some.
Not fortified in any way.
I think,
It's basically asking to be robbed.
yeah. I mean, like if you don't put good locks on,
Mm.
I think I can. I mean, I can certainly open the lock without it being clear that it's
Yeah,
been.
and Polly can wild shape, so you got options. And Nis is here. Nis can electrocute someone or look like a person. Nis could look
Yeah,
like.
sure.
Well, I guess you don't know what Lord Vialis looks like. So.
No, but you could look
You
like
do know what
I'd have-
Farrell
Farrell.
Had to be
looks
Farrell.
like, and Farrell. I don't think you've asked about Farrell, but it's I think you can assume that, given Farrell is Lord Vialis' business liaison, that Farrell is probably known in and around Greenfast.
I think fake Feral is going to be our, ace that we can pull out later.
Okay. So,
But
how do you want to play this?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do we have anyone who can detect if there's any?
I can detect traps.
Yeah, that. I mean, I'm thinking there's got to be some magical. Or we can just open the door and
Not
go in.
necessarily.
Or I could become a mouse and get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you become a mouse and get in there and then get
Stomped on.
Eaten.
eaten by the whatever.
Yeah, but you could do a telepathic link.
two-
Polly could be your third,
Yes.
and then you could get a mouse squeak if something bad.
Yeah. All right, we can do that.
All right. Polly, you want to turn into a mouse?
All right, let's do this
All
mouse
right.
thing.
Polly shrinks down, transforms into a mouse. Little Anthony looks at you kind of hungrily. Polly squeaks and scampers up to the house and squeezes through a little crack in the foundation and disappears into Lord Vialis' house. What horrors await you within the home of someone who murdered everyone dear to him and moved to the countryside, a lovely place to relax? What is the deal with the cult of the burning tongue? What kind of house does Farrell have? Let's check into that. For answers to questions such as these, tune in next time to Total Party Kill.
The Incomparable Podcast Network. Become a member and support this show today. theincomparable.com/members